Decision Plus has been and still is a leading stock market service provider. From training to coaching, we cover it all. Try both our software as well as our coaching site, completely free for 10 days without obligation. No credit card is needed to sign up for the trial. The trial subscription will be automatically canceled for you at the end. DecisionPlus.com, your stock market service center. Real-time coaching has been created. We search and classify critical reports and technical movements. You can visualize or hear the best buying and selling opportunities. Get real-time advice all day long and 3 live coaching shows per day. Let us do the work and save your time for trading. Try MarketGurus.tv free without obligation for 10 days in the menus above. Market Vision Plus is the trading companion of so many investors. Make your fundamental and technical analysis easy with Canada's #1 stock market decision-making software. Research, decide, and follow your positions with Market Vision Plus. See the menus just above this program and try Market Vision Plus for 10 days without any obligation after the show. When it comes to day trading, Trader Plus is the right tool. Track 50 quotes simultaneously, create dozens of quick lists, display as many as 30 real-time intraday charts at the same time. Watch the action with candlesticks or bar charts as fast as 10 seconds. See the market by sectors. Use the chart models already prepared for you. Try Trader Plus for 10 days in the menu above without any obligation.
Friday, September 18, 2015. The question bar is open, folks. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm also going to answer the questions that were asked yesterday that I didn't have time to answer. So I definitely invite you to ask your questions. Today on the indices, we had actually some weakness on the indices. If you take a look at the situation here that we had on the NASDAQ, on the TSX, and on the Dow Jones at opening, but finally we had a slight intraday rebound that didn't last. So far it's kind of tough to determine which new direction the markets are going to take, because if you take a look at the situation here, we still have a situation where markets are having a correction following the Fed decision. What the Fed decided is that they decided to keep rates unchanged, but one of the reasons why I think markets are going down is because they blame the uncertainty that the Fed has created, because the Fed has not laid out a game plan concerning when they're going to raise interest rate. Of course, there were a lot of arguments for the Feds to increase interest rates. The American economy is growing. There's some jobs that are being created. But overall, I think that the Fed took the good decision. The simple fact of the matter is, first of all, even if there are jobs that are created, there's still a lot of people concerning the unemployment rate that were so discouraged because they couldn't find work that left. So the participation rate is lower, which is something that's not good, because you might raise this interest rate. This will increase interest costs on American consumers. This will limit their spending abilities. We still have a lot of people that have been discouraged to find some work, even if there's some jobs that are being added. A lot of jobs that have been added also are part-time jobs. I think the Fed also is looking at the world, how it is doing also as well. I'm not saying they're only relying on what's happening in China, but also in other emerging markets, because a lot of emerging markets, I'm talking of Brazil, for instance, well, a lot of them are commodity-based economies, which means that they have big commodities producers. For instance, for Brazil, Vale is one of them. Those companies, well, they piled up a lot of debt in US dollar. So whenever the Fed raises interest rate, of course, this is going to have a negative impact for them. And they are already struggling with this weak interest rate environment, with the weak commodity prices. So this is actually something where I think the Fed sees itself where the risk of waiting a little bit more is worth taking compared to the risk of raising interest rates too early. Because if they raise interest rates too early, we might have in the short term a slight slowdown in the US economy, and the other countries around the world, of course, will be impacted because all other central banks are continuing to pursue aggressive, loose monetary policies, but so far their economies are doing okay or not as healthy as the US economy is doing. So the Fed so far feels that it's better to wait a little bit instead of rushing and stepping in by raising interest rate, even if the increase was going to be gradual. So also I want to bring to your attention that we're going to have the Greek election results this Sunday. So far there's some uncertainty concerning that, but they say that Mr. Tsipras, the current prime minister party, is leading in the polls. Also, we have some news here I want to bring to your attention about AK Steel Holding. They say that the third quarter will be greater. They expect a lower loss compared to the loss that they were expecting before. Apple, they say that Apple has the right to sue Samsung concerning patent infringement. Remember, they make a big financing. They actually raise $1 billion, and they could raise even more. And if we take a look at the news on the Canadian side, though, today we have some news first on this one here on Aerodev that they signed a contract. BlackBerry, the CEO said that they're going to focus on their patent. It's a key element of their turnaround plan. And Sheraton International, they cut their budget forecast for 2016, and they also suspended their quarterly dividend of 11 cents. So it's one of them out of the many mining companies that did that. Shopify, they signed an agreement with Amazon. So a lot of Amazons that were using the Amazon Web Store product, Amazon has incentivized their customers from now on to use Shopify, which is a way to build their own shopping system. So everybody who puts a product on Amazon can actually have their own website, and they will use Shopify products. And Barrick Gold is also cutting some jobs too as well. They're shutting down one of the office. They're shutting down the copper unit, and but so far Barrick Gold is going up slightly, really slightly. And Guyana Goldfields, they will be added to an index, but so far the stock today is taking a hit. So let's start with the sectors that are weak, the sectors that are benefiting from this status quo. The sectors that are weak are really the resources sector. If we take a look here at the mining sector, it remains one of the weakest sectors. We have Teck Resources that could potentially break down below $8. First Quantum that could break down below $6.78. What we said is that on MarketGurus.tv is that for First Quantum, for instance, you see that this stock is making a new low intraday-wise. So this new low intraday-wise, though, we could say, you know what, I'm going to start shorting First Quantum right now at those levels. Try to short it. If ever you see that this decline could continue, well, then you might hold on to that position for swing trading and make sure you can take some profit at 604. So, of course, it's going to be limited, but you could start to day trade that stock if ever by opening some positions right now, or short, I'll say a minimum position. And the more the decline continues, take some profit towards 619. But you need to make sure that at least on the stochastics, that if you're shorting it, that we're not yet oversold. So right now, it is not a great timing to short because you see that the stock is oversold and there's some buyers who are stepping in. So it's not appropriate to do so. You need at least a confirmation that the decline could continue if you want to short a stock like that. Stock like Lundin Mining, same scenario as well. Yes, indeed, we make a new low. However, so far the stochastics is showing us that we're heading towards the oversold situation, but we're close to it. So it's highly probable that we might have an intraday rebound. So I'd like to see a more pursuit of the decline before considering that stock as a potential short. So this is one of the sectors that is doing pretty badly. Now, in terms of the stocks that are doing pretty well, we have a lot of stocks in the healthcare sector. A stock like Vivus, for instance, surge here, there, and now the stock is stabilizing. The stock could reach 185, 184, which corresponds to this 100-day moving average, even if it's losing some momentum intraday-wise. On Cotran, also one of the nice entry points for day trading. Next entry point is 388. All those stocks have been all recommended on MarketGurus.tv. And there's also Exelix, which is clearly breaking out today. The thing is, in Exelix is that I would not feel comfortable to buy that stock for swing trading because we're so overbought. So I kind of doubt that the stock could pursue its rally and make another 5 or 6% in the coming days. So those are the stocks that are mostly active. On the downside, we have a lot of stocks in the financial sector. But if we take a look at the financial sector here, we have stocks like Comerica and Capital One. Those are my best shorting opportunities. All the ones with an S are all also selling signals, but Capital One and Comerica are my best picks. But the thing is that even if we see some slight decline in the financial sector, see, the sector is still neutral. We still have this important support that's there. So this is why it's important to not rush our moves to get into those short positions unless they can maintain their decline intraday-wise. And even the bearish ETF are not that interesting, because if you take a look at FAS, the bearish ETF has stayed totally dead flat throughout the day, even with several stocks that are breaking out. I'm talking of Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. The FAS index is still totally neutral. So that is a sign where, with the quadruple witching day that is today, I think you should continue to first take a look at the intraday chart in your stocks that you want to open, either to short or to buy. And it's the same thing too for the stocks in the healthcare sector. Take a look if intraday wise they can maintain their increase. And so far, Uncut it fits that criteria. But a stock like XL, it's good. But by taking a look at the stochastics, I still see an overbought situation on that stock. And that makes me kind of fearful on a stock like that. Now, Tom had a question yesterday. How come a company INT, which is INT, I'm going to show you this company here. INT can decide a 10-to-1 when they sell to another company. Well, what they did, basically, they did some kind of what's called a reverse takeover for INT. This reverse takeover needs to be approved by the venture index. Basically, what it is that they have a stake in a private company, and this private company, well, they're being bought by another major company. So the small company is going to merge into INT. So this is what's a reverse takeover, when a private company is merging with the public company. I don't know if this stock is a shell, Entertainment Media, because I doubt it, because it has traded for a while. But this is what's happening. Now, how come they do it? I think it's totally legal. Of course, they need the approval of the TSX Venture. The deal is not yet completed. They expect it to be completed on January 31st. But I don't think that it's illegal to do so. It's purely finance, and companies use many ways to make sure that a transaction or a trade could go through.
Find answers to your questions by emailing your host at dtm@decisionplus.com.
5 good reasons to manage your investments with National Bank Direct Brokerage. Commission fees fixed at $9.95 anytime for all clients and starting at only $6.95 for active investors. No administrative fees if you hold at least $20,000 in your accounts. Registered accounts available in U.S. currency. Powerful tools to help you manage your portfolio. Award-winning customer service and satisfaction levels amongst the highest in the industry. To learn more, visit nbdb.ca or call us now.
Real-time coaching has been created. We search and classify critical reports and technical movements. You can visualize or hear the best buying and selling opportunities. Get real-time advice all day long and 3 live coaching shows per day. Let us do the work and save your time for trading. Try marketgurus.tv free without obligation for 10 days in the menus above.
What sector, from a question from Adam, what sector is the best to be invested for the next few months? Thanks. Well, Adam, it's tough to answer this question, though. If we take a look at the SPY situation on the 30-minute chart, we're still staying within this upward corridor. The thing is that if we go low at 195, that will definitely be negative for a lot of sectors. So I don't think that you can feel comfortable with those market conditions to say, you know what, I'm going to buy a sector and be patient, hold it to it for several months and stay okay with it. Because so far the Fed has not given the markets or investors a lot of certainty concerning what's going to happen when the next rate hike is going to happen. So this is something that kind of worries a lot of investors. I would say that if ever interest rates stay as they are until the end of the year, and on 2016 we have a possible rate hike, one sector that could do well, it's mostly the utility sector, because the utility sector it's a sector that whenever interest rates are low, they do well. You see the utility sector on the Canadian side has some potential until 220. Today it's having a correction, but that will be a sector that could do well if rates stay unchanged until the end of the year, but we don't know if that's going to happen. Another sector could be the real estate sector if rates stay as they are. So if you take a look at the real estate sector on the Canadian side, you see the sector has not budged at all. It is at the bottom indeed, but so far we are not seeing any buyers yet because investors are kind of reluctant to buy REITs, especially not knowing what if the Fed is going to raise interest rate in 2 months from now. So this is one of the reasons why I think it's kind of tough to determine that. If also the Fed keeps rates unchanged and the Fed thinks that the downward momentum on inflation could actually stop eventually, I think in 2018, if I remember right. So this is something I think that could actually continue to be positive for gold because if ever the Fed keeps rates as they are, well, we could see potentially at a certain point, at a certain level, if the growth of jobs creation continues at its same pace, eventually we're going to have some inflation that's going to spike in. So the Fed expects that in 2018 we'll have inflation towards the 2%, but I think gold on the short term could actually do well until 135. So gold, utility, real estate, if rates stay unchanged. Now, if rates go up, well, I think all sectors are going to take a hit. I think another sector that will do well too as well is the healthcare sector. And the reason why in the healthcare sector is because a lot of companies are merging on the healthcare sector. So their financing costs are low when they are doing some mergers. And I think it's one of the reasons why we're seeing a lot of stocks today in the healthcare sector that are surging, such as Vivus, such as Oncontrion, such as Excelsis, because those companies, they're small indeed, but the fact that the interest rates stay unchanged as they are is giving investors more certainty that those companies' financing costs or burning rate won't be as high if interest rates stay unchanged. So I hope I answered your question, but I cannot give you a clear sector because, as I said, for the next few months, a lot of things can happen. We still have the SPY that is still within this corridor, upward corridor, and we don't know what the Fed is going to do, if they're going to raise interest rate by the end of this year or by next year. So you have to watch, I would say, your positions or your stock or your sector on a daily, if not on a weekly basis, not hold it, not buy and hold for several months and not look at it. So it's important, Adam. Now, EHT, I already took that question yesterday, EHT, I think. Yeah, I took that question yesterday, so what do I think of it? As I said yesterday, I said it's okay, you hold on to it. 50 cents is my exit point, but whenever you make a 5 or 6% compared to your paid price, which is 60 cents, take some profit on a stock like that. Do not wait until $1 to take some profit on a stock like MCM Capital One. Now, a crash for October? No, I don't think so. I don't think that we have the conditions to have a crash. Of course, there are always some aspects that can happen that we don't know, but there are tougher regulations. Banks are not taking as much risk. Yes, people still have debt, but I would say that with the low interest environment, it's manageable. More jobs are being created, even if a lot of them are part-time, but still a lot more jobs are being created. Emerging markets, yes, they're having a lot of challenges, but I think that the way the financial system has been regulated with I think that definitely we could actually have, there are more boundaries, more protection, I would say nowadays, I find, to actually avoid a crash, especially with the financial system. So for those reasons, I'm definitely not bearish. I think that right now I'm more in a bullish tone right now, and I think that eventually we could have markets, even if they have a correction for the next few days, but I cannot say that we're going to have a crash, especially by looking at the data coming out of Europe, coming out of the US, and even if China is slowing down, China is still growing. So I don't think we have that. EHT. Okay, but EHT, Jay, I don't have it. On which index is it, Jay? So it's not the good company. So just write the ticker right, and I'll answer your question tomorrow, Monday, right? Because you wrote EHT, Aerodynamic Hybrid Tech under venture, but the one I have on EHT meets MCM Capital One. So maybe it's not the right name. I don't know if it is our software who has the problem. I'm gonna have to verify that. But the price is the same. The chart is the same. Can you confirm if the chart is the same? If it's not, well, I'll try to check it on our side to see if we can correct the situation. But on EHT, I have the name MCM Capital One. But I'm gonna do my homework on my side and get back to you on Monday on this question. So that's it, folks. Wish you all a good weekend. I just want to show you here quickly the day trade of the day. It's AEZ on TSX and also AEZS on the NASDAQ. So you have the options to trade both. This has been the best day trade of the day, and this is actually the one that we recommended. It's in the healthcare sector, one of the most active sector on the upside. So I wish you all a good trading and see you next week on the Swing Trading Show.